What's going on, fam? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode of Ask Papa Swolio. Remember, if you want your question featured right here on the show, just drop in the comments down below with the hashtag Ask Papa Swolio, and I will get to them as soon as I can. And also, you can check out the description down below my beard for apparel and all the amazing links to get started with Swolenormous X, to learn more, to check out the other channels, podcasts, and all that good shit. Let's get into the episode. First question is from Instagram, and this one is from Original Kelly K. And she asks, Papa Swolio, I know this is probably a silly question, but can I do Swolga every morning, even on the 90-day dash routine? Now, the 90-day dash is a flagship program inside Swolenormous X, and Swolga are yoga classes that I personally teach myself. So the answer is yes, you can do it every morning. You could do yoga every morning. You can do a lot of things every day. It depends on the intensity and the volume. So if you're doing a yoga class, for example, and you're doing a power vinyasa flow every day, that can get very taxing in addition to, for example, a weight training program. But if you're doing, let's say, restorative or lower volume or more of a yin, more of a restorative class, you can absolutely do it more often. And it could be like a standard daily routine. So if you're not practicing yoga, anyone watching, you should practice yoga. How many of you are doing Swolga in the Swole fam? Drop in the comments down below. Do your yoga. Do it. Just do it, please. Please. Okay. Next question is also from Instagram, from ZombieCat1993. Papa Swolio, would you recommend foam rolling before or after yoga on an active recovery day? That's a great question. I would actually do it before, just because it would loosen me up for doing yoga. But it's not going to harm you either way. Sometimes, or some people might say or think that yoga might actually help you release a little bit. And then after practicing yoga, you can get into the muscle tissue a little bit deeper. But inhibiting the muscle tissue with pressure via like myofascial release, like with a foam roller, is really good before lifting or after lifting, depending on what you're doing. For example, I know you asked about yoga specifically, but for example, doing it before strength session, you might not want to dig into the chest muscle that you're going to provide strength with, because it can inhibit the muscle fibers too much. But in terms of a practice like yoga, in which you want to open up the joints, as more mobility based, it's not strength based, then you could definitely do it before. So for that, I would leave it up to your intuition. What do you feel better doing? So good question. Question from Gianluca Valentini here on YouTube. Papa Swolio, I'm 58 years old and have been active my whole life. I still work out at home at least 3 times a week, but the average is 4 to 5 times a week. I'm muscular and lean. I'm built like a sprinter. Now I'm beginning to ask myself if 11.5 body fat percentage is healthy for a man my age. So again, he's 58 years old. What do you think? I feel great, even though it has a price, but perhaps I'm doing something wrong. Could you give me your opinion on the focus of training at 50 plus, stamina, strength, speed, or a combination? I'm not over 50, so I don't have any personal perspective on that yet, but I do train differently now than I did when I was 20. So I'm 36. So 10, 12 years ago, I was training a lot differently. I don't do anywhere near the same amount of volume per workout. I do a lot more frequency. I prefer 2 or 3 days a week per body part rather than 1 day a week putting myself in a freaking wheelchair. I eat differently, but I eat better than I did. So I wish I ate the way I do now. Then I would have had even better results. I'm leaner, I'm feeling better, less joint pain, everything, which is really the most important thing as you get older, is mobility and being pain-free. If you are overloading your body, there will be a time when things start breaking down if you're not addressing your joint health, if you're not addressing your posture, if you're not addressing your recovery. There's nothing wrong with being 11. I mean, your body is prepared to do what you've been doing your whole life. So the reason why you feel great doing what you've been doing is because you're training the way you have been. Your body is prepared to do what you're doing every day. You're asking me, is there a breaking point, or are you wearing yourself down, which might be the answer to your question if you're even posing it. If you feel great, why are you even asking? So you say that it has a price. What's the price? Hard work? I mean, what do you want? Body fat percentage at that level doesn't necessarily mean more health. There's a point where you go too low, it actually goes against probably optimal health, because your body does store vitamins and minerals in your fat deposits. It's good for hormone production. There's a lot of benefits to having fat, including, protection of the organs and just all sorts of different things in terms of how your body functions naturally. And I hope I didn't slip up with all those little couple details, but you all know that if you go super low with body fat, you can really jack yourself up. So being competition or stage ready isn't something you want to maintain all year round. Now, some people naturally have a lower body fat percentage, but if you're stressing yourself out, your psychological health might be taking more of a toll than that being a benefit for you physically. So I would address that a little bit, maybe through some more mindfulness and meditation. And if you're feeling great, then just keep on going. You're great. If you slow down, you're going to slow down. You're going to age if you slow down. So keep it up, keep exercising, but focus on your nutrition and your health, but make sure it's what you actually want and not just what you think you need to maintain, because you've created your identity around being the lean 50-year-old, if you know what I'm saying. There might be a little bit of that there too, so you could drop that in the comments if you're watching this. Question on YouTube from Gretchen Wieners. I love your name. Papa Swolio, I have been struggling to lose my last 20 pounds for a while now. I was overweight in middle school. Now I'm still slightly chubby. Do you have any suggestions on losing body fat? Nothing seems to really work that well so far. Yeah. Eating limited calories, caloric restriction. But if you haven't done an elimination diet, do it. Do a Google search right here for my content on the elimination diet. Go check out swolenormousx.com. Check out my Instagram page. There's a lot of resources where I talk about it. Tons of podcast episodes on the Daily Swole, linked down below and in the related channels. The elimination diet is the process in which over the course of 4 to 6 weeks, preferably 6 to 8, you are eliminating common foods that cause allergic reactions and sensitivities like gluten, like dairy, like sugar, and you will see a lot of differences. So struggling to lose your last 20 pounds doesn't sound like you've really gone into your nutrition as deep as you should have. So if you have gone and done elimination, you could drop that in the comments. But if you haven't, that's where you should start. And I think you'll be very, very happy with the results. Question from Instagram, Turbo290. Papa Swolio, I work a 12-hour shift and I have no gym available to me. Should I do yoga or Pilates instead? Yeah, I definitely think you should do yoga. I don't promote Pilates. I don't have a lot of personal experience. I know some people really like it, but yoga is phenomenal. If you're not practicing yoga, you can dabble in Pilates and get into it a little bit more. I've done it before, not a lot, so I don't really speak upon it. It's exercise. It's really good exercise. I just don't think that anyone should be without a legit yoga practice, whether they do Pilates or not. So you could drop that down in the comments below, what you like about Pilates, if you practice yoga or Pilates, if you do both, if you prefer one over the other for any reason. But I think everyone should be practicing yoga because it is a great inhibitory practice and postural practice, as well as physiological and psychological. It's not just flexibility. A lot of people think that yoga is just flexibility, but it's not. It's not just stretching. It's a lot more than that. It's really moving meditation, and you can really get deep into it in many different ways. And that's what she said. But yoga is amazing. Don't leave home without it. Question from Prisma Wolf. Papa Swolio, I have knock knees, genou valgum or knee valgus, and supination, and have severely sprained both my ankles in the past. Are there any exercise that will help me fix my leg alignment? Well, I mean, fix, improve, yes. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you just do this and magically it'll go away. But you can do a couple things. You can strengthen your posterior tibialis and practice exercises that provide plantar flexion and inversion to correct or help correct, mitigate that supination, which is your feet. I'm going to butcher that, but it's when your feet kind of like, roll out, they evert, they flatten, the arch flattens, and it's really bad for the knees. It's really bad for the fucking knees. It's a combination of dorsiflexion, external rotation, and eversion or something like that. If you're a physical therapist, you can correct me. That kinesiology off the top of my head sometimes doesn't come super fast, but that's what it is. And exercise that will help fix your leg alignment. So you can do those, posterior tibialis, plantar flexion, inversion, to work on that aspect. But what you also want to pay attention to is what's going on at the hip, because it could also be coming from the hip. So if you have destabilized hip or an imbalanced hip, your hip flexors are going to take over, your TFL is going to take over, you're going to get probably a lot of laxity in the hip joint. So strengthening your gluteus medius will help bring those thighs out. It'll help activate those posterior fibers of the gluteus medius to get some more external rotation with the femur. So hip bridges, lateral tube walking are great. Even single leg balance exercise are fantastic. You could do those kind of side clams, those side hip exercises. You could do the abduction machine, the pushing out to the side at the gym, but I would recommend the bands, the lateral tube walking, as well as hip bridges. And you could do resisted hip bridges with the band just above your knees at the bottom of your thighs. That will help work and bring those femur out and bring the femur wider. That way it'll help raise the arch and not cause you to get that extreme external rotation of the tibia and that internal rotation of the femur. So that's what I would recommend working on. And of course, core strength. So doing planks, working on your transverse abdominis, drawing in maneuver, sucking your stomach, better posture overall. So a lot of yoga will help too. So that would be my recommendation. Good question. And I hope that helped a lot of people, because most people have that. Most people deal with that kind of issue, or many people do. Question on Instagram from Miss Dots. Papa Swolio, is black coffee healthy? Is it okay to drink a few times a day? No milk or sugar? Well, I drink it every day, so it fucking better be healthy. I have not read or seen anything that would suggest that drinking quality coffee, especially black, as being a negative. So like anything else, some people are going to react to things differently. If you're sensitive to caffeine, as you can figure out during an elimination diet, but if you're sensitive to caffeine and you're pounding caffeine, might not be good for you, especially if you're missing a cup of coffee. Like when I don't drink coffee, I don't have crazy headaches, but some people get nasty withdrawal, probably from drinking crappy coffee, but also maybe their body just naturally doesn't respond or is hypersensitive to that. Make sure you're getting quality coffee in. For me, it would be a single origin, organic. You don't want beans that are really overly processed. I think personally it's better to get smaller batch from smaller roasters just because the quality is usually higher. When you start getting into these big factory level like Folgers and stuff like that, quality goes down when you have so much quantity. You just can't keep up with quality. It's like next to impossible. You have to figure out which ones you feel best with. Don't just go by the price. Remember, it's just like anything else. A lot of times you're going to pay for quality, but you're going to feel a lot better. There are noticeable differences that I have felt between quality coffee and shitty coffee. No question about it. Question from AO. Papa Swolio, what do you think of the Smith machine for deadlifts and barbell squats? Would it be better to perform these exercises freehand? And the answer is yes, yes, and fuck yes. I do not use a Smith machine for any type of squat. There's maybe a couple handful of specialty exercises that I'll use the Smith machine for. At my gym, we have one of those 3D, so it's a Smith, but it's on a track, so it kind of moves front to back. It's a free motion, but it's still on a track. But a real locked-in Smith, I don't use those anymore. There'd be very, very, very limited amounts of exercise I would use that for. Anytime you can do a full squat, a full deadlift with proper form, with free weights, is going to be better. I would not waste your time at all with that. Especially if you're asking that question, don't do it. Free weights. Question on Instagram from Afisha Carter. Papa Swolio, is Ezekiel bread good? So we can get into the whole gluten versus sprouted grains and this debate of which I'm no expert. I've had Ezekiel bread before. There was a period where I would eat Ezekiel bread regularly. I have not had Ezekiel bread at all for well over a year, maybe 2 years at this point, and I feel totally fine. I don't crave it at all. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I probably could eat it if I wanted to, maybe to see how it makes me feel. But for me, my carbs are white rice or sweet potatoes, and mostly I eat grass-fed beef, those types of products, and fruit, like berries and stuff like that. So I do a lot of that and I feel amazing. So I have not felt the need in a long time to consume Ezekiel bread. But the question, is Ezekiel bread good? That depends on the individual. That's why I'm always promoting the elimination diet, because Ezekiel bread might work okay for some people, and then other people, it would just wreck their world. For me, I just didn't feel like it provided me any value. If anything, it made me feel a little bloated and sluggish. So I said, fuck it. Question from Sophie Grebranovic. Butchered it, so apologies. Papa Swolio, what is your advice on exercising and nutrition when having a stomach flu, cold, or sprained ankle? Well, holy shit. Like, pick one. Having a stomach flu? No, don't exercise. A cold? You probably shouldn't exercise. And a sprained ankle? Don't do anything that's going to injure or make it worse or affect it from getting better. So a sprained ankle, depending on what you're doing, maybe do upper body, maybe go sit in the sauna, maybe just do some foam rolling, maybe do some yoga that doesn't involve your ankle, maybe just do some stretching or some meditation or some yin yoga that could be easy on your ankle. Sounds like you need just to take care of yourself. Just chill. It's all right. You'll be fine. You'll get better. Question from Sabrina Pendergrass. Papa Swolio, I was wondering, since I travel a lot for work, I don't get access to a gym, but I take my resistance bands. Would I still be able to gain from my bands? Well, you say you travel a lot for work. You're trying to gain. Maybe when you're traveling, you shouldn't try to make progress in the sense that you should be focusing more on maintaining mobility. For me, whenever I travel, it's a lot of stress on the body. It's a lot of fucking stress. You're in the air, you're cramped in seats, you might not be hydrating enough, you're, getting filtered air, you're getting solar radiation, whatever you want to fucking say. It's a stressful time for the body. We're not meant to fly through the fucking sky. It's not normal. So our body's going through a lot of stress, and I think a lot more stress than people give credit for. We just get used to, oh, I'm just jet lagged, I'm just tired from traveling. You just fucking flew through the fucking sky. And I know I used to cramp a lot because I didn't realize how little water I was drinking, because you tend to hold in your piss and not drink too much water so you don't get up and pee all the time. So then I started hacking it, and I started just getting aisle seats so I didn't have to feel like I had to step over people. So I was more free to go to the bathroom. I didn't feel restricted because sometimes someone's sleeping and you know what I mean? You're by the window. It's a pain in the ass to go to the fucking bathroom. So now I sit on the outside. But whenever I travel, I sandwich it before and after with mobility. I do more yoga, like do bands. Fine. Like how long do you travel for? 2 weeks? Go to a gym, get a gym membership. Sure, you can get bands that you can do for resistance training. That's why we're launching the brand new Swollen 7 section inside Swolenormous X for those types of workouts, for those types of trainings when you're traveling or if you have limited space. Depends on the length of travel. It really does. You can give me that kind of detail. You say you travel a lot or often, but maybe you do 2 or 3 day trips a lot. You can definitely mitigate your worries by focusing on your resistance training and your gains in that sense when you're at home, and then do more maintenance style and adjust it just so you can keep the juice flowing, and do more yoga and mobility. That way you can crush it when you get back and you don't have to feel all stiff and maybe set yourself back even more. So Good question, but I would focus more on mobility depending on the length of your trip. Well, thank you so much, fam, for all your questions. I really appreciate your time and attention. Remember, if you want your question featured right here on the show, just drop your question in the comments down below with the hashtag AskPapaSwolio, and I will get to them as soon as I can. And check the links down below in the description for the Daily Swole Show and also for apparel for the special offer for resolutions. It's ending real soon. We have a couple offers that are ending now, and all the offers are ending at the end of this week. So if you are interested in joining the Swole fam, make sure you go and check that out. All the links in the description down below. And I'll see you real soon for the next episode of Ask Papa Swolio. Peace out, fam.